On to HAYDOCK 3:45 next up, and running for a first prize of £10,000, 9 of them, and 12 fences to be jumped for the Cheltenham preview here in March. Handicap chase in a Class 3. Zalvados, the 5-2 favourite, ahead of Admiral Secret for Victor Dartnell and Tom O'Brien, last time out winner in the field, and 2 of them scoring last time. Venga de Guy was one of them, and 25-1. To repeat the feat, Vendor at 5s, New to This Town at 11-2, Ubaltique at 7s, and Dicosimo at 8-1. And it's a Deadly Approach at 28 and Oliver's Gold at 40-1. Right, guys, let's get the teeth stuck into this race. We are looking at an open event. I think
it's an event that Ubaltique has made his own. He's won the last 3 of this particular race, so clearly gets on well here over this course and distance. But the market is well, I was going to say it's bigger than that on exchanges, and it's drifted all day. So at 11, maybe punters have decided that even though he's a standing edition of the race, he's not going to do it today. It's probably more competitive. Zalvados has been very well backed today, but he's got a habit of coming second, but he does run well at this track, so a worthy favourite.
Not often Harry Skelton rides for outside yards. He's with Oliver Greenall again here.
Yeah, but the Greenalls are, you know, 1 yard that he is patronised by. I agree with you, Dave. Ubaltique was my pick in the paper because he's got such a good record in January. From the turn of the year, he's got some unbelievable stats, but doesn't look as though he's particularly well fancied today. Zalvados used to be, you know, very much a bridle horse over hurdles. Admittedly, he tried his he plied his trade in 1 or 2 very warm races at times, and he seems to have converted some decent form to fences as well. Ran well here behind the Tom Gretton trained Puerto Rico last time.
Here we go, coming in.
In they come. Admiral Secret half backing away. It's getting a little bit on edge. Can't let them go until Admiral Secret consents to go up and join them, but he's not proving to be entirely cooperative, and Tom O'Brien jumps off the gelding's back to lead him a little bit closer to the others, who are forced to stand and wait. A couple of them taking a turn, including Ubaltique on the far side. In they come again. They're off, and Admiral Secret is flatly refusing to jump away with the others. He was going backwards when the tapes went up, and the rest are already at the first fence, which they've all cleared safely, and Admiral Secret has refused to take any part. They've gone off sharply here onto the ditch. De Cosimo in the noseband and Deadly Approach just taking each other on a little, and they've gone 3 or 4 lengths ahead of New to This Town with a red cap upsides, Oliver's Gold and the grey Vendor. Then Ubaltique blue cap for Will Kennedy towards the far side, Vengeur de Guy at last but 1, and Zalvados red cap held up at the back of the field as they already sweep out over the third, confirming that Admiral Secret was lining up with the rest, but he refused to jump off when the tapes went back, and Deadly Approach has now been allowed to stride on, crossing the 4th. And he clears it with some gusto as well. De Cosimo reined back by Daryl Jacob off the early gallop to head the pursuit. Ahead of New to This Town, wide of Vendor, the grey gelding, up here disputing third. 2 or 3 lengths away to Oliver's Gold, and then Vengeur de Guy, Ubaltique and Zalvados at last as they swing the paddock turn. Deadly Approach just slackening the tempo now as they make this left-hander, allowing the others to close up to within 2 or 3 lengths. De Cosimo still at the head of the main cluster from Vendor and New to This Town. Then Oliver's Gold in a maroon and white jacket, and the final trio, Ubaltique up the rail alongside Vengeur de Guy, and just a half length away to Zalvados. Heading to the first down the back then, Deadly Approach, and Sean Quinlan leading to the nose-banded De Cosimo. Vendor and Oliver's Gold next, New to This Town on the far side, rising. And then Vengeur de Guy and Ubaltique, and Zalvados, as New to This Town, is briefly shaken along. Approaching fence 6, moving towards halfway. De Cosimo taking on Deadly Approach once again. Ubaltique has made very steady progress up into third. Vendor, the grey, It's losing a few positions. Oliver's Gold drops back to be last of them. And they're heading on towards the midpoint in the back straight. Deadly approach to Cosimo, landing steeply. Bad mistake from Vengeur de Guy. Did well to keep his feet. Tom Wilmot had to sit tight. But now right back at the rear of the field with a push along Oliver's Gold. Salvados, meanwhile, is still patiently ridden now alongside New to This Town, who himself made quite a serious mistake there. So to the last on the far side, penultimate ditch, 5 out. Deadly approach and De Cosimo still the leading pair. Ubaltique will take off and land in third, Vender in fourth, Salvados improves to go fifth, and then a gap to Vengeur de Guy, the ridden along New to This Town, and Oliver's Gold struggling on in last place. Deadly approach leading them into the turn. A couple of lengths upstalked by De Cosimo in the hands of Daryl Jacob. Ubaltique in his bid for a fourth straight success in this race under Will Kennedy, blue cap close up in third, shadowed by the grey Vender. Salvados now in fifth position, sitting right on their tails, and despite a serious blunder down the back, Vengeur de Guy has got himself in touch. There's a gap to the other two, Oliver's Gold and New to This Town. On towards the fourth last they come. Deadly approach on the far side of De Cosimo, still the leading duo. Vender and Ubaltique the next two over, then Salvados, Vengeur de Guy now being shaken up. They're heading towards the third last, the final open ditch. On the extreme left, De Cosimo coming back alongside Deadly approach. Ubaltique produced in the centre, lands third, 2 lengths away. Vender ridden more firmly by Danny Cook. Salvados being finessed into it by Harry Skelton, red cap. Still a quarter mile to travel. The second last is coming up. Deadly approach on the right, De Cosimo on the left. They land as one. Salvados and Ubaltique are chasing, heading on between the final two fences. De Cosimo on the near side takes a slender lead from Deadly approach. Salvados now delivering his challenge. Here's the final fence. De Cosimo in front, landing steeply, shifting left. Salvados within a length, halfway up the run-in. De Cosimo, Salvados throwing down his challenge on the far side. De Cosimo, though, finding plenty under pressure from Daryl Jacob, and De Cosimo brushes aside a big weight to win from Salvados. Deadly approach in third, close for fourth between Vender and Ubaltique, whose winning run in the race comes to an end.
De Cosimo not always